Hi, sir.
Thank you. 1 minute. So, did you get a chance to work on the assignment?
Remember that we had
Nitya?
Yes, sir.
The assignment which I shared, did you get a chance to work on that news assignment?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so I don't. Okay, so let us discuss about. We saw like the data version control, and we know why we need data version control. So, why we need major data version control? If I ask you.
To maintain the history of version control,
Hmm.
which on which data we trained on which hyperparameters we tuned it on. So to maintain that whole
Okay,
versions, we'll do data
but
version.
but data version control specifically is important when I want to see which data has provided the best possible model,
Outcome. Yeah.
right? That is
Yeah.
the main intention of going with the DVC.
Yes, sir.
Similar to that, if I come and if you go and see, model also requires some version control, correct, right? Because every model will also require a version control to see which model given us the best results. So we need anyway data version control. So which data given us the best results. Similar to that, we also require which model given us the best result also, correct, right? There might be
Yes.
multiple experiments we perform. And out of these experiments, there might be out of 6 to 7 experiments, one experiment may have given the 90 accuracy, 90% accuracy, or 85% accuracy like that. So how can we track it? And as you mentioned, hyperparameters. Which hyperparameters gave the best results? We also need to track that as well. So to achieve that, we have the tools like MLflow and QFlow. So MLflow is basically another like framework that is going to allow us to track your ML models. Why we need to track the ML models? Again, I'm telling we need to track ML models to find out the best model out of all our experiments. Okay, let me share my screen. Hope you're able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when I talk about MLflow, so MLflow is one of the package or framework which we can talk about. This is used to track or record all your experiments along with data, configuration, and results. And every model, when I talk about ML model, every model will have the model specific artifacts, correct, right? What are the artifacts majorly? Artifacts in the sense the model, the data which is related to model, the code related to the model, correct, right? And experiment which we are going to perform. Experiment is going to give a best possible result, but however, you will have a experiment execution will be there. That particular execution. We can call that as a experiment or you can call that as a run. That particular run should have a number. So based on that experiment number, we can go and reproduce later. So during this experiment, I should see the code, data, configuration, and results. Everything should be tracked, including hyperparameters. And here in MLflow, we have the components like MLflow tracking is one component, MLflow projects in component, and MLflow models and the MLflow registry. All these are 4 different components which MLflow will be having to maintain the whole ML lifecycle. So MLflow projects is responsible for combining your code into a package to reproduce your runs in any platform. And MLflow models is going to help you to deploy your ML models into the serving environment. An MLflow registry is to store and discover and manage your models in a separate repository. So we should even store the MLflow like ML models, right? Correct or not? It doesn't mean that I need to store only data. I also need to store my model versioning also version 1, version 2, version 3 like that. Or else I cannot reproduce.
Yes, sir.
So this framework, this particular components of this framework is going to help us in that. So if you see here, I have multiple different components. As I mentioned, ML models is one component, ML flow tracking is one component, ML flow model registry is one component. So every component will have a particular purpose here, and you have version 0 and version 1, you can see. So version 0 and version 1, again you have like a version 1, version 2, version 3 like that. All these are experiments, and in this experiment, every version of the model, again you will try to move one model among this particular version. We are moving to staging, from staging to production. You can see we are not moving everything. The green version is going. Can you see? The green version means which is going to give the best results. So we need to see and we need to deploy the final model. So the tracking server or MLflow tracking will have a tracking server where it will capture all this information. It will capture the hyperparameters, metrics, and artifacts, metadata, models. Everything will be tracked by the MLflow tracking server. So you can access this tracking server using the user interface. You will have a MLflow user interface, which will help you to monitor all this information. And in this particular MLflow tracking component, you can go and like connect to any of this particular node. Through notebooks you can connect, local apps can connect, and the cloud jobs can connect, and they once you connect we can track all this. And my final model will be tracked here, and it will be pushed into the model registry. So model like MLflow projects is the like another component where your code will be combined, and it will be tracked with the metadata and configuration. And finally, you can go and even execute that particular packager model. And also, you will see like the MLflow models will have all these libraries. All the ML libraries like scikit-learn will be there, TensorFlow, Spark ML and PyTorch, and all these Keras, all these model libraries will be there to build your model and then push into the push the model format, and these models will be finally pushed into a deployable version. So MLflow models is going to, as we discussed here. So what is MLflow models is doing? MLflow models is helping us to create a deployable version. So here MLflow model, this is going to help you to select which is a deployable version. This is a deployable version. Can you see? This is one of the deployable version, and this is going to utilize by any of these particular tools. Like for example, I want to deploy in SageMaker, or I want to go and deploy using a Docker container using Kubernetes, or I can directly deploy into a Azure Machine Learning, or I can deploy into a Spark cluster. So you need to select which type of tool you want to deploy, and the deployment will happen on this particular flavor 2 now, as of now. So this is the best possible model you can consider. Okay, so that's about like a model, MLflow model, which is going to help you to build a deployable version of your model. And MLflow registry, once after your model is ready, then you will try to capture your model results, and including model artifacts, everything will be captured into the model MLflow registry. And you can see here this experimentation, whatever the model is there, the data scientist will do some kind of like experimentation, and you push into the staging to like A/B test they'll perform, and finally move into production. But who will take care of this deployment? You will have a DevOps engineer or deployable engineer. The machine learning engineers will be there who will take care of the deployment. So this is how you need to understand about MLflow. And there is one more PPT. Let me show you. For an example also. So why we need to go for MLflow also? The main objective to go to MLflow is to like there are some development challenges which we encounter in any machine learning project. So the experimentation usually will be override. So every time when you run any ML model, when you run multiple times, do you track your experiments? No, right? You never track your experiments. So always you will try to override that experiment. We never will have any tracking. So what is my experiment and what are the results of that particular execution? What is the data of the model on that particular execution, and what is the model which I used during that particular execution? None of these things will be tracked. The experiment should be tracked here. So that particular process is not part of the development work earlier. So when MLflow came into picture, the main objective is how to select the best possible model out of a group of models. To achieve that only, we are going to select the particular MLflow framework to achieve it. So tracking, which is going to record all your experiments, projects to package your model into a reproducible like format, and finally models is going to allow you to send the models into the into the serving environment in the format which you want. And these are the track things which will track during the experiment, like hyperparameters. I hope you know what is hyperparameter, right? Both of you. Every model will have some hyperparameters. Random forest will have some hyperparameters. Decision tree will have some hyperparameters. So these hyperparameters will be tracked according to our requirement, and metrics like numerical values. All the metrics, like for example, classification will have some metrics like AUC, area under the curve. We have like accuracy score, and we also have like F1 score. And if my model is a regression model, we will have RMSE. So all these metrics will be tracked, and artifacts like which files, like data files, model files, all this will be also need to be tracked. It doesn't mean that I need to track only hyperparameters. I need to track the artifacts, metrics, and source code, everything. All these are usually tracked during the using the MLflow tool. Okay, so I hope you understood, right? So whenever any model is going to degrade the performance, what we do? We will have a feedback loop. A feedback loop is usually a process that is going to retrain your model, and again it will go and build a best possible model. So a feedback loop is a process that is going to allow you to, from the deployment, you go back to the like data preparation, and you will try to go and features engineering, and again you will train the model and evaluate and try to build the best possible model again. So the feedback loop is going to help you on that. So this is how the MLflow interface will look like. and you will see multiple, like this is one of the, like experiment where you can see, which you can see, uh, there are so many executions you can see. So this is experiment ID 1, and this is the artifact location where the like artifacts are stored, and you can see the most of these particular executions are like multiple executions, and you can see here the parameters are learning rate, maximum depth, RMSC, and RMSC cross validation, training loss. All these are like part of the, like model specific information. So here you can see the experiment wise, you can see the model execution. Experiment ID is going to allow you to see which experiment this particular execution belongs to. So we can have multiple experiment IDs here, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And this is where you will see the full information of your run. You can see here, there will be a run ID for your experiment. Can you see here? There is a unique number is there. How is a unique number for DVC? Do you remember, both of you? There was a unique number for every version, right, of DVC. The .dvc file will have some unique number. Do you remember or not? I'm asking.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Similar to that, your experiment here also will have a number like this. Can you see this number? This unique number indicates this is a particular experiment which happened. Every experiment will have a unique number like this. And when this particular experiment happened, and what is the source code, and then you can also see like how much time it took, and what is the status, it is completed, finished, or failed. We'll see everything here. And this is a decision tree which you can see. That is the reason you can also see the decision tree diagram here. And you can see the metrics here, parameters. You can see learning rate and maximum depth for this decision tree, and metrics, since it is a regression, we are capturing RMSC, and we also capturing RMSC, like cross validation and training loss. All these particular metrics we are capturing, and this is what the decision tree which you can understand, and you can go in deep again. So this is the artifacts, and the ML model and artifacts information, where you can see all these are, like for example, like this is the model pickle file you can see here, and we are using the MLflow.sqln package, and these are all the inputs of the data. You can see run ID here. Can you see now? The run
Yes,
ID,
sir.
this run ID is nothing but this particular experiment which it executed. All these are inputs for the model. So this is some like rental bike data. So where you can see like the season, and then you can see the name, and like season, and then year, and then month. You can see hour of the day. We also see like is holiday, weekday. All these are the columns of the rental bike data. So example, for example, so all these particular input is passed to the model to train and test it. Okay. And projects, as I mentioned, is going to allow you to create a packaged model, and which will help you to reproduce your experiment always. So it will allow you to create a packaged version of your model, and you can see like it will automatically allow you to run that. So to execute, or like for example, to use MLflow, you need to install MLflow as a package. Pip install MLflow is going to install the package. How pip install DVC we do. So as soon as you go and finish installing, you can simply go and run your MLflow by using MLflow UI is going to allow you, and where you can go and see the interface. So to see the interface, you need to go and run that. So let me show you how it looks like. Usually it should allow us. It's not allowing me to install this. So let us try to go with the Anaconda site. Anaconda environment.
So is MLflow the only
Hmm. Hmm.
platform we have, or do we have any other platform which does the similar jobs? Eh?
Qflow is there. Qflow is a combination of Kubernetes for MLflow. The next
Kubeflow.
the next version. So next upgrade version of MLflow is so before Kubeflow was there, people used to depend upon MLflow, and again for the orchestration, people were leveraging Kubernetes. Whenever Kubeflow came into picture, and which is in, a MLflow with integrated Kubeflow, for example, there is a combination of Kubernetes and MLflow. So, but that is also like having some challenges. So, because Kubernetes we had to manage. Again, the integration was taking so much amount of time. So, people started using MLflow only with integrating Kubernetes, so that you can have a control over MLflow separately and Kubernetes separately. Are you getting?
Okay.
And
Yes.
Qflow does have the support, but it is very limited support.
Oh,
The team who is working on Qflow, they
mm,
do the supporting, but the challenges are like uh, uh, they support very like limited support. So that is the main reason why people are still using MLflow. Okay,
oh.
we'll try
So
to.
in day-to-day life, like
Hmm.
in your past experience, what you worked, if you face such
I use
questions,
I use MLflow only most of the time.
MLflow.
MLflow
Oh,
only. So I tried Qflow, but I didn't work it out for us. So I'm using still MLflow only. Okay.
okay.
So we'll try
Okay.
to install MLflow. We'll see that. So it is now installing. You can see. You simply need to install like a normal Python package. Pip install MLflow, and once it is installed, then you can go and run MLflow space UI. Then it will open the user interface.
Okay.
We can also install MLflow on a EC2 instance also. We have a document I'll share you. You can try that. How we installed DVC. Similar to that, we
Mhm.
can also install MLflow on EC2 instance.
Okay.
So you can try that, and you can also experiment by using the EC2 instance too. So now it is installing MLflow with the dependencies.
So what's the other command you said? Hyphen UI.
MLflow
MLflow.
space UI should work. Let us see. Then it will open a like URL. So let us see. Can you see? It is showing a URL here. Did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this URL, you can go and open that. Let us see. Open. Can you see? Both of you.
Yes, sir.
This is what the interface. You can also try this. It won't take much time. It's very simple. Just install the package and try to run the MLflow UI, and it will show you the interface like this.
It's
And you
still
can
low. It says booting worker with PID. It's giving some IDs.
where you where it is giving.
In the terminal. After entering MLflow hyphen UI.
Ah,
Oh yeah, yeah. It gives it. It gave.
yeah.
Got it.
You are also running.
Yeah.
Okay. So models is the one where you will see like it is directly showing, but you can try it. And so these are two models already registered here. Can you see? These were the
Yes, sir.
old models which I registered, and you have like a create model, which will allow you to create a new model, and you can try with integrating with your experiments and all. So you can go and start adding your experiments and all, and so but you need to run these experiments, and maybe I'll show you in the next class how to go and create one experiment, and how to integrate the models also. But you understood, right? What is the purpose of MLflow now?
Yes, sir.
So MLflow is
Yes, sir.
basically MLflow is basically is useful when you want to track your experiments and store them also. Why we need to store? If at all I want to reproduce, I definitely need to store somewhere. Correct, right? See, all these experiments tab you can see. This experiments tab is going to allow you to create new experiments, and I can click on this, and I can give experiment name, and I can give that artifact location, and all these are manually it is allowing, but we need to do through Python, the Python coding. So as of now, you can see here none of the experiments are running. So I can create a experiment using Python coding, and you can try to like integrate that with particular interface. Okay. This is one of the example. Just give me a minute. This is one execution. This is one run. One run means one experiment which it executed, and you can see model matrix is MSC. Can you see? Mean we'll say like root mean square error, right? See the mean square error, and you can see the system matrix. There are no artifacts also no, but model matrix is one metric is there. You can see, and we can go back to the second one also.
How do we integrate the model to this ML flow, sir?
We need to run through Python, and we need to create the model, and model pickup file also should be there, right? We don't have any
Yeah.
model here integrated, and whatever you see, this is only one model is there, a random forest model, and which I created with one version, and but still it need to be integrated. So once after your model will come here, then you can promote it. Can you see? This promote model will move to the next. Like for example, I want to go and move to like demo model and promote. And now this can be like pushed into production, but that part I'll show you anyway. But till whatever you see here, this experiments and models, we need to have one more tab here. I'm just cross-checking that. So models and experiments, and we also have one more tab here. It should be supposed to be there. Just a minute. Models tracking projects is there. So as per the interface, experiment models only, and you should have a GitHub integration also should be there. It's not coming here. Okay, we have that. Okay. Here we have a GitHub integration. So this is the GitHub integration directly. It will go. Can you see? So here you can see it's on new run. It's going through prompt engineering. We don't want that. New run using notebook. Okay, here you need to add your information. Can you see? See, this is an example. Are you getting? So this is
Yes,
an
sir.
example. So load diabetes prediction, random forest regressor. So Let us try to run this. So we can run this code from your like local notebook and we can create an experiment here. So let us try to run that. Okay. So we got a new run ID. Can you see? A new run ID got generated here. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
So this should be visible from our interface now. Let us see that. So now it got generated. This is the like a predictions.
Sir, the one which you opened earlier, it showed the time 5:29, sir.
Hmm. Just 1 minute. This one. This one, right?
Yeah.
Correct. But however, I'm not considering this the execution. No, it's not the correct one. No. This is not the one because this is the demo model which I created, but my experiment should come here. That's what I'm checking here. Hmm. We
How will
executed.
it come here, sir? Like in the code, is it mentioned that is there any?
There is some issue going on here. We need to see that. Yeah. When we execute this, it's giving some issue. See,
Yeah.
from the local, it is unable to pick up. So that's what I can see this. Okay. So that's what. See, when I execute this code here, it is getting executed, but however, but our experiment tracking also was there here. Run ID. Experiment one. Let us try to see this. Already we have experiment 0 is there, I think. Let us try to add a new destroying error. Let us see what is that. This experiment 0, it is saying. Just try to create one experiment name here. Experiment ID I'm checking where it is. Something not doing. Let me check this, huh? So it should reflect actually in the interface. So when we create an experiment, it should allow us to add a new experiment ID here, but is I don't know why it is throwing error. I should have an experiment ID of my choice. So you can set experiment ID and it should allow me to. It's not allowing, I don't know. Because we are configuring auto log also. So let me check on this. So I'll share this particular documentation. Please go through it and we'll see tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay then. Chalo, yeah. Yeah.
Sir,
Arun, I'll share your CVs most probably by tomorrow or day after. Okay.
yeah, that is fine. That is fine, sir.
Hmm.
And I think I have most probably of 1 and 1.5 months to complete my graduation.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and I'm applying for my jobs.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
So please,
so
you
we
can.
have like 1 to 1.5 months. So I mean, if we continue these classes and will complete as soon as possible, it will be helpful for us to get prepared an interview
Sure. Sure.
for the interview. So yeah,
Sure, Arun. We'll do that. No problem. Okay. We'll do that.
yes, sir. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
No
All right.
problem. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.